I am going to talk through the administration of blood. So you will see on your ED narrator on the left hand side blood products, and you will see that there is 3 units of blood ready to be transfused. So in order to get your blood transfusion flow sheet up, on the right hand side there's an arrow which shows more activities. If you click on that and go down to blood transfusion, it will bring the tab up at the top of the page, and on the left hand side then you will work your way down the checklist. Just want to mention before we start going through the checklist, your group and screen will be the same as ordering bloods that we have explained. So you will request a group and screen, print your labels, collect the sample the same way, and the only difference is you can put the sample label on the blood bottle. You don't have to handwrite it anymore, but you still have to send the form to the blood bank. So the only difference is that a bottle doesn't need to be hand wrote. So in order to prepare for transfusing a unit of blood, the consent must be completed. So here you can see that the consent has been completed under blood consent, and it has been signed, so it's all been discussed with the patient. So if we scroll down to release unit, here we can see that there's 3 units ready to be transfused. So if we hit release, you will see that it will change from 0 to 1. So we have 1 unit of blood ready to be released from the labs. So you can document your vital signs here. So if we document a set of obs, prior to getting your blood, so patient sitting, 3rd room air, that's 98, and then just hit close. That will be recorded on your flow sheet, your vitals. The next task to do is then let the porter know that you have released a unit of blood and it's ready to be collected in blood bank. So under porter collection, if we click on the orange box and hit the wee glass microscope, it'll say porter blood bank. So click on that and insert your patient that you are requesting the blood for. Then start location will be where your patient's at. So if you click patient bed, it'll put their bed space in, and the end location is where the porter has to go to, so it will be blood bank. So insert blood bank and accept. Then there's a hard stop here you can see. So a quick way to fill this out is the box that says insert smart text. If we type in blood and then hit enter, and then we want to collect blood bank collection slip, so double click on that. It will come up automatically what you need to fill in this box. So blood component, we want red blood cells, number of units just 1, and it'll then transfer the patient's name, date of birth and HCN. So if we then hit accept, that's a request sent to the porter to let them know that there's a unit ready in blood bank to be collected. So whenever the system is live, we will be able to see if the porter has got the notification to go get the unit, and we'll be able to track the status or the progress of it. But the porter will still have to come and get the blood collection form that we fill out at the moment, the white sheet, and then go to the blood bank to get the unit of blood. So if they don't appear within 15 minutes, you could give them a phone and see if they've got the request okay. So that's collection of the blood unit. So then once the blood unit arrives in the department, we go to transfusion flow sheet, which is on the left hand side under transfusion admin. So if we click on transfusion flow sheet, and we then have a few checks to do. So ID band applied, this should already be in situ. Patient positive identification, and ID verification method, patient self-identification. So in order to start our checks, we hit on the left hand side, begin blood transfusion. You can see the wee blood droplet. If we click on that, we can check the prescription before we start it. So if we double click on prescribe, authorize red blood cells, and again double click, it'll come up your prescription. So we'll check that the rate of the blood, they're not for tachywobs, it's for the right patient, and they're for 1 unit of blood. So once you're happy with that, you can close it and then hit start and connect it up to the IV line that you're going to be using and hit accept. So this is the checks that we normally do and with 2 people. So this will be your check, and then somebody else will have to come along and check it. So we will scan the patient's barcode, but in this instance we will just say scanner broken and override. And then the unit and blood type we must put in. Unit number, for the purpose of the training, we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then registration number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reason not for scanning, barcode unreadable. So it will ask action, new bag, date and time, it's IV and the rate. So if we say 280 mils over 1 hour, and then these tick boxes must be completed before you hit accept. It won't allow you to accept it unless they're completed. So the volume that we intend to infuse is 280. And make sure that you read every single one of these. These are the tick boxes that would be above where you recorded the patient's observations on the original white booklet. So has the unit any leaks? And it's not expired? Yes. Make sure that it's for your patient and that the label matches the compatibility tag. Special requirement met or not applicable. Positive patient identification against wristband. Correct giving set used, and patient identity details on the unit match those on the ID band. And then that you are competent in blood. So we don't put in the total volume transfused. That's when the transfusion has stopped. And then if you've done your observations recently, then you can tick this and they will transfer across. But make sure they are recent, just before the blood started. And then once everything's completed, you can hit accept. And then this is where the second checker comes along. So this must be somebody else, the same way that we do at the minute. It's a 2-person check. So they'll check the unit number, the right blood group, the registration number, that the rate's right, and that all these boxes you have ticked yes to, that is the correct information, and that they're happy with their observations. And then hit sign off, and they will put their own username and password in then. And then hit accept. So that will be the commencing of the blood transfusion. So you will be able to see on your fluid balance then, just in the bold, it says transfusing unit. So you know that that has just been commenced. So say, for example, your patient's cannula is dislodged and you need to stop the blood. If we go back into blood transfusion and transfusion flow, we have to add a column. So if we add column and go down to the blood transfusion, and hit rate, there's a syringe that'll come up. So if we click the syringe, it'll come up a hard stop that we want to log another action. So if we click on the wee glass microscope and we want to stop, then the rate will be 0 mils an hour, and we want to stop the transfusion. We'll have to scroll down to the bottom and hit total volume transfused after transfusion stopped. So do not go by what Epic tells you, because they will say a certain amount as calculated by them, but go by what your pump says. So we can change that, say it was only 10 mils transfused. We can hit accept. And then there's two different accepts at the bottom. There's accept and complete and accept. So if we hit accept, it's only temporarily stopping it. It's not completely stopping the transfusion. Say you were going to get another line in and you wanted to restart it, then you would just hit accept, and then you can do another action and restart the transfusion again once the line's in. But for the purpose of the training, we're going to hit accept and complete, and that will completely stop the transfusion. Once you hit accept and complete, you cannot restart the blood transfusion. That's it, completed. So accept and complete, and that is the blood transfusion then completed. So you can look and see how many blood units are left to be transfused, or how many is available in blood bank. If you go on to the blood transfusion and go down to the flow sheet where it says blood details, you can see here transfused blood, there's 2 units left, and completed is 1 unit. So you'll see not started is 2 units still available, and completed is 1 unit. And just to mention, the volume of the blood that has been transfused, you don't need to put that into the fluid balance because it automatically will transfer over to your fluid balance for you. And then massive blood loss protocol. At the minute, we're still going to be using the same what we do at the minute, the back of the white booklet. So it's the same process. It's not any different.